on the Bobby Bones Show now.
Tyler Reddick.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for hanging out, man. Are you tired still? You got some sleep?
Yeah, I've gotten some good rest. We stayed at it pretty good. Sunday after the race, we made sure to at least get like 4 hours, 5 hours sleep. So that was good. And then last night we ate a really good dinner. And I think we slept about 7 or 8 hours last night. So
You're good.
I'm actually running pretty good on energy wise. My wife's really tired, but I'm good. So
I want to ask you a question because we're expecting a baby soon. It'll be my first child, but I was reading a story that you had a baby around 2 a.m. and you still raced the next day. Is that true?
same day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like, in essence, it feels like the next day, but yeah. Rookie, my youngest, was born like, I think it was around 2:20 a.m. and on Sunday of the Coca-Cola 600, which, by distance and most of the time, the time that goes with that distance is our longest race every single year. And so, that was just a huge undertaking for me. It was a lot for my wife to go through too. What I can basically tell you is the way we've done this 2 times now, we've done a really bad job of energy levels going into the hospital. What you need to try and do is sleep as much as you can before you get to that point where where water breaks and you're heading to the hospital. Both times now, it's been at the tail end of like our busy-ish day, and we're like rolling into the hospital running on fumes. Me and Alexa, then that night that we went back to the hospital for Rookie, our second one, we were both telling each other how tired we were, and we knew it was close, and we were both kind of like, let's get the kids, let's get Bo down for sleep, my oldest, and let's just like sleep 2 or 3 hours and reevaluate and see where we are. So she goes downstairs to take a bath or something, get ready to go to bed, and I'm putting Bo to bed. And just about the time Bo falls asleep, I'm like dozing off. I'm so tired. Tomorrow's going to be a really long day. I hear her come back up the stairs, and she's like, my water broke. So we were, man, it was a long night for her. It was a long night for me. But we got through it. But yeah, the biggest thing I can say is do everything you can to catch up on rest before you go to the hospital, because doing it running on fumes is brutal for so many reasons. And then that happened, and I think I slept an hour at most, and then I was back at the racetrack suiting up to run the Coca-Cola 600. So sleep deprivation was in full effect.
Did you feel at any time maybe I shouldn't race this because I've had no sleep, or are you only on adrenaline?
I think I was strictly on adrenaline, and funny enough, well, for me, the race that, the Daytona 500 is obviously a huge race, and a race you always want to win year in and year out. But for me, I'd say like the last 3 or 4 years, the Coca-Cola 600, we've been so strong, and every time we go into that race, I know we're capable of winning it. And so, for me, it's like, man, this is a huge race. It's super important. Like, I kind of started the race off like, I'm gonna really pull it back. I'm gonna just let it come to me. We're starting like 12th. If I don't get to the lead till about halfway through the race or up in the top 5, it's okay. And funny enough, that race like started off, and I'm just like chilling, and I'm blowing by guys. And next thing I know, I was running third to like Kyle Larson and William Byron, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm literally just doing my best to take it easy and save my energy. And we're already at the front, so we'll just kind of chill here for a bit. And ironically, I didn't get an opportunity to get by William Byron for about another 200 laps after that. But it was a long race for sure. But that's always one that, we've always been so good at. So ironically, that happened the same day as that. And it just kind of adds to the story of Rookie coming and joining us, and in the fashion that he did it. He still doesn't like to sleep.
Sometimes I'll drive to work and not even remember driving to work. You're just like, I just got here. Does that ever happen when you're driving and you're like, well, 40 laps just went, I don't remember anything about it?
Not in the race car, but yes, driving to, my commute to airspeed's a lot shorter than some of the other places I've raced at. When I was racing at RCR, it was 58 minutes, pretty much on the dot every day, one way. So yeah, those 6 a.m. mornings heading up to Welcome or whatever. I mean, I'd pretty much I'd be pulling into RCR and I'd be like, wait, how did I get here? I don't remember anything. And I just have, podcasts, music, whatever going in the background and just kind of like mindlessly driving to work. It's pretty wild, but the commute to airspeed where we live now is only about, I mean, it can sometimes take 30 minutes, but typically it's about 17 or 18 minutes. It's pretty short.
Hey, I know your grandpa. That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, Benny?
no kidding. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What the heck?
Yep.
So
How do you know him?
it's Benny Brown, Broken Bow Records, and then he
Oh, really?
Oh, we know
Yeah.
Benny.
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah.
So you kind of grew up around country music then.
Yes, sir. I definitely did. Yeah, whether, it was living in California and, he was doing the dealership thing and helping artists uh, get their feet under themselves in Nashville. He did that part of it for a little bit, and I think he kind of got tired of putting in all this work, getting this artist prepared. He would get them to Nashville and feel like they kind of get put on the shelf and go nowhere. And so I think after going through that enough times, he's like, I have enough. I've had enough of this. I'm gonna put more. I'm gonna put more in the game. And then that's how Broken Wheel Records got started. And you had Craig Morgan at first. We had Craig for a long time, and then obviously the real big one that it's always funny to me to look back on. Jason Aldean obviously went on to have an incredible career in music, but it was funny. I remember meeting Jason very early on, and my grandfather just like not loving his. I gotta be careful how I say it. Like, just my grandfather was big on like traditional country music, the clean shaved guy, the cowboy hat, the 80s, 90s cleaned up country look. And then when he found Jason was, your kind of rock country guy, the chain on his wallet, the tore jeans, the loud shirts, the loud personality, the earrings, everything, right? And so I remember when Jason kind of came into the mix, I was like, we asked our grandfather if he was okay because this is everything, this goes against everything that he was kind of trying to build these artists up to be. And so it was just really cool to see all that come together. I mean, my grandfather just has an ear for music like that. And I remember so many times I'd be sitting in the car with him, and he's got all these demos, all these tracks for the different artists that he was working with, and he just kind of had an ear for what a single and a hit was going to be, and kind of put helping piece together the album with the songwriters and everything. He's got an ear for it. Just he was a man of many talents. He was very good at selling cars, and he's able to turn into putting together artists with great songwriters and making great music. So yeah, he's done some incredible stuff.
Whenever an artist comes to Nashville, because most people don't live or not, they're not from Nashville, there's always a story about them coming here. Now, you grew up in California. Do you have a story of like, okay, I guess I got to go to North Carolina because that's where it all is?
Yeah, it was, yeah, it's kind of like, they're different industries, but it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, in racing, if you want to be a NASCAR stock car driver, you have got to put yourself in Charlotte, in the Charlotte area. Pretty much all the major teams are here, all the major manufacturers, whether it's, Ford, Toyota, Chevy, and Rams kind of coming back into the picture. I mean, you've got to be in the location that all these people in the sport, call home. And so, yeah, it was the very same thing for me. In that way, I, pretty much remember, we were living in Southern Illinois at the time, racing some dirt stuff. And it was, I'd gotten the opportunity to run in the truck series for Brad Keselowski and his race team. And yeah, pretty much just had to take what I could, throw it in my car, and drive out to North Carolina. I've been here, 12 years since.
Was that one of those things like an artist where you just have to go find an apartment and you just know a couple people and you kind of have to start your life new, figuring it out?
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. I knew some of the guys that I was working with and racing with, but yeah, it was kind of like just going somewhere you didn't know and starting completely over. I was very fortunate that one of my friends, I had a number of friends that were in the area kind of doing the same thing. Kyle Larson was a couple years ahead of me in that process. So he was in the area. Obviously, he still is. And the one that comes top of mind for me is my friend Greg Stumpf, who owns Off Axis Paint. He's painted helmets for goodness, maybe even more than 20 years now. But me and him go back to dirt racing days. We used to park next to each other at the dirt track, and he would work on his friend's car. And so I had, a couple relationships, and Greg was the one that kind of helped me get going in North Carolina. Obviously, he still paints my helmets to this day. He spotted for me a few times when the opportunities have come about. We've won races together, which is awesome. Yeah, like Greg kind of helped me find my home and my center, and we've been able to stay friends and continue the friendship for years and years down the road since. But yeah, it's tough when you move somewhere you've never been or don't know a lot about. It's super important to be able to lean on friends that you've connected with before getting there.
Is it a part of the racing culture whenever people move and they want to start being a part of it, or they have to have other jobs too? I just compare it to Nashville when people move here. Like, you have racing buddies that had to wait tables for a while before they could buy their first tire. I don't really know how that works.
Yeah, I think it definitely it was a bit before my time when that was more of a thing. I've heard stories about like Chase Briscoe came about it in a very old school way. A number of drivers did that. The times really changed a lot. I feel 15 or 20 years ago, it started to go more in the direction the drivers coming to Charlotte to get in the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, or now the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. You know, they would come here with nothing, and the team would bring the partner to the driver. And now in this day and age, it's gotten more of the way of the driver already having the partner and kind of already having himself kind of his feet under him to some degree. So he's not having to go wait tables and do all that sort of stuff. But I do remember in my early days at BKR, I grew up racing dirt and I worked on everything I drove. So when I got there, I was doing everything I could to help the pit crew guys out, get adjusted to me. So I go over to Penske and drive the pit stop car there. And they eventually pretty much got me to stop, but any chance I could, I wanted to work on the trucks I was driving. Any chance I could, I wanted to go back in the fab shop and hit the machines and make parts and pieces that we'd use. And eventually got to the point where, some of the managers and bosses of BKR were like, look, we can't afford you to go back there and get your finger caught in a lathe and rip it off because you're supposed to drive a race car. So um, a lot of that has changed as I've been here too. The sim world, the data, all the things that we have access to now. There used to be a time where, yeah, as a driver, you'd wonder what you kind of do throughout your week to prepare, and now there's just so many tools and things that we have access to that you can spend, your entire week running sim, training, looking at races, going through film. I mean, you just try and scrape together the best schedule possible so you can be as efficient as possible with your preparation now.
What's the most realistic racing show or movie?
That's a good question. I don't know. Most realistic. That one's hard for me to answer.
That's not a documentary, because
Yeah, like I feel like I was definitely the kid that loved the vibe that Days of Thunder put out there with Tom Cruise, and you know, I found like in my teenage years, I just loved comedies, and I've come to find out that Talladega Nights is nothing like what NASCAR was at the time or is now, but there was a time where I'd watch that movie like once a night. I love that movie so much. Um, so for me, I wouldn't say I'd be able to tell you the most accurate, but certainly, Talladega Nights and Days of Thunder are just two amazing movies that, maybe not the most accurate, but it's just so awesome to see, people like Tom Cruise and Will Ferrell and, um, in Talladega Nights, Sacha Baron Cohen do the job that they did. It just, those movies are fun. And I remember when I moved to Charlotte, I try and figure out where that Applebee's was, where some of these scenes happened at. Harvick Harvick bought the house that I think was the mansion in the movie. Like the some of the drivers really enjoyed, the positives that came with the kind of exposure a movie like that gave it.
I just got a few more questions. Do you keep anything in your car for good luck?
Um, I don't keep anything in my car for good luck. I don't think I have anything like that. You know, yeah. I mean, we are so my crew chief, if I had anything in the car that wasn't useful for good luck or anything else, the weight of it, he would have a problem with. So even if I wanted to, it would probably be non-negotiable. It would not happen.
Did you keep anything from after your win, memorabilia wise?
Well, I wasn't able to like pull anything off the car, or anything like that, throughout the process. But after me and Michael Jordan were able to hoist the Harley JL Trophy, we had the ring ceremony. I got this Daytona 500 ring here. Unfortunately, it's flown off my hands a few times, so my friends at Jostens are gonna have to help me clean it up a little bit. Um, I think for me, that's a really cool part of it. But also, um, for me, I love watches. I really do, and I've always told myself, I love Rolex watches. I really do. And for me, I never, I just didn't feel like it was right to buy a Cosmograph Daytona. I felt like I had to earn it. Um, and so to be able to earn this watch is part of the ceremony Monday morning. It may be hard to see, but on the back here, it's got Daytona 500 winner engraved on the back. For me, that of the things I've gotten, this is probably the one that is the most meaningful. I remember when a long time ago, I told myself, I want a Daytona Rolex watch so bad, but it was so important to me not to just go buy one. It was super important for me to earn it, and so yeah, I haven't got it adjusted to my wrist yet, but I've been wearing it ever since.
Well,
Along with the ring, I keep flying off my hand.
you're gonna like this. So this is my watch. On the back of it, I have Daytona winner as well. I just had them put that on there just for fun. It says Daytona winner. So I just,
And you just
Nice.
bought it.
yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to do for no reason. Never even raced. But final thing I want to do, instead of getting into, because I've watched you talk a little bit, and it's crazy. You were second last year, and then also you're rolling, and it was a whole scene at the end of the race, and I don't know if you felt like you were going to win it ever, or if you knew you had a shot and then you won it. Would you answer that question? Did you feel like you were going to win it, or was it okay? The situation may present itself that I can win it.
Yeah, we had that caution with about 8 laps to go. Michael McDowell had stayed out and looked like he was going to steal it away on the fuel mileage side. So when it brought the field back together, I knew I had. I mean, Sunday could have possibly been my best ever, the best shot I'll ever have at winning the Daytona 500. And so when we were under caution there, I really let the heaviness, the moment kind of like sink in for a couple minutes, and the emotions and everything were kind of running wild for me, because it's a childhood dream to have this opportunity. And so I thought that was good in some ways, that I let the emotions and everything that this race means to me kind of take me for a second. I was able to put it away and put it off to the side, and like, all right, this could be the only shot that is as good as this to win the Daytona 500. And I definitely didn't treat it like I'm winning this race. It's done. It's happening. But I definitely understood how important the moment was, and this could potentially be the best shot I'll ever have at winning it. So I made sure to not let any noise outside, or even the emotions that I had. It was important for me to feel them, have that moment of understanding it, and then put it aside. And it's like, all right, instincts, and just go drive, you know, go do the things that I do inside the race car. And I think it was very fitting that the race didn't really go back into like a standard. The restart was chaotic. The field never really got formed up. People were able to make a lot of moves that typically don't happen towards the end of the race. It normally kind of calms down a little bit at the end. And for it to stay that chaotic was, I think, the best case scenario for me, because that's typically when I win these speedway races, when things kind of hit the fan and get mixed up like that, and there's just unexpected things happen.
Well, congratulations. My final question. Let's say you had a bag, and it was one of those mesh bags, and it was full of basketballs, and you walked over and you said, "Hey, Michael Jordan, would you sign all these for me?" What would he say?
I think he would laugh at me. I don't think he would. He maybe since I won the Daytona 500, he'd sign one for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I think yeah, I think I definitely feel like, if there's, whether it's my helmet when we get it back, or there's something a part of what I had, I think it would be cool to you know, have his signature on it, or maybe the other way around, me and the guys, whether it's he gets the car or there's something of mine that was a part of the race, I give to him. For me, he always likes to have something worked out. Like, okay, we can almost, like if you're able to accomplish these great things, here's what I can do for you in return. So it's always fun to kind of go back and forth with them on things like that and see where it leads to.
Congratulations. Really appreciate the time. I know you're still high on the hog right now, and deservingly so. So yeah, have a great rest of the week, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
See you later.
It's